Mina, Matti, Tom Hitchcock, how are you?
Hey Tom, how are you? I'm well.
Good, I'm very good, thank you. So we got the opposing colour schemes going on here.
Oh yeah,
I
it's a bit of
like it.
monochrome on the back.
That's it. So okay, listen, I'm looking forward to hearing your story and what you're comfortable with sharing with myself and the audience. I know very little about you, Mina, so that's why there's some anticipation because I'm keen to hear it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I've been in construction auditing for about 13 years. I don't know if you know much about ISO accreditation.
Yes, I
Yes.
do know it. They're hard to get and hard to maintain.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. So we are a development. We've got a practice in Sydney where we develop management systems for businesses prior to them getting audited. So I've been doing this for quite a long time now. And pretty much now looking into a bit of marketing, being the face of the business, going out there and, developing a network of clients, which is really good.
Okay. All right. How long have you had the business for?
Business has been operating for about 3-4 years.
Okay.
I went out on my own. It's called Citywide Consultant. So yeah.
Okay. And tell us a bit about Mina outside of the business. So where you come from, what makes you tick? Um,
Where do I come from? Which part of it do you want to know?
whatever you're comfortable with sharing, to be honest with you. So yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, so we migrated to Australia back in 1994. So I was born in the north of Iraq. Our background is Chaldean.
Okay.
So pretty much started school here. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it from my end of things in terms of where I come from.
So northern Iraq, it's isn't that you find a little bit more people with the blue eyes, and there is it starts to
Yeah, they're
change.
slightly darker, the north of Iraq, they're slightly darker in hair,
Right.
but lighter in skin. So yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
I haven't been back there since, to be very honest with you, because there's been multiple types of wars that have happened there since. So I was born there and migrated to Australia. Family's on here, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, so Australia's home for you. As you were growing up, did you what did you want to be?
I've always wanted to be a police officer.
Hmm.
So in my last 2 years of high school, we had to obviously submit a document to say, what do you want to be? What kind of uni do you want to get into? What type of bachelor degree do you want to complete? And I completed a bachelor of, I selected to do Bachelor of Policing at the University of Western Sydney. And went home that afternoon really excited, really eager to tell everybody that this is what I'm looking at doing. And my old man turned around and said, there is no way in the world that you are doing a Bachelor of Policing and you're coming home with a gun. So I cried myself to sleep that night because I was very disappointed. And he said, find something else. Surely there's a million other things that you could do. There is no way my eldest daughter is going to have a gun walking around the house. I want to make sure you come home every day. And I said to him, but this is what I want to do. This is where I find myself. This is my career, my journey. And he goes, no, this is not what you're going to do. You've got to find something else. Do option 2. So my option 2 was a Bachelor of Business and Commerce. And I flipped him over. I made that selection 1 and policing selection 2. And I actually got into both of them after school, but I had to reject the offer for Bachelor of Policing because he wasn't going to accept it. And here I am now. So I know I didn't really follow my dream, but I mean, compliance and risks and auditing is down that avenue of somewhat policing.
What was it? What was it about policing that appealed to the young Mina?
What was it? Power, I think. Urban in Power. I really do enjoy that very much. I liked the challenge, and I wanted to be heavily involved in the community. that I really thought would work very well. And because my background, a lot of our entire community are not very well spoken in English. So I wanted to be assisting them, I guess, in, getting ahead. If there are any domestic violence protection orders or anything along that avenue, I wanted to be heavily involved in that department of things. So that's what really interested me in Bachelor of Policing. But yeah, that went out the window.
There we are. So the appeal of power was there for you.
Absolutely.
However, you were powerless against your father.
Oh, absolutely. And I respect my father a lot. So, yeah, when he said what he said and I took it in, I saw his point. It was very logical. But when you're at that age, you want to do what you want to do. You don't want to take anyone else's opinion because you think you understand the world. But I understand where he's coming from. And because he was part of, he grew up in Iraq, he saw a lot of people die because of being in roles and positions like this. So I guess that was the territory for him that he didn't want to cross, and he didn't want to lose anybody that he loved, I guess. So that's where I think it all came from. There was a lot of fear within him when he made that decision, and yeah, I just had to go along with it, really.
Okay.
It's never too late. You never know. I could potentially one day go back and do it, but at this stage, it's a no.
Yeah, fair enough. So you end up flipping around, doing business administration. When you entered into that as a option 2, if you like, what was your view as where you were going to be taking that?
At the time, yeah. So at the time when I started that degree, I was actually operating a business, and it was a construction business. I was heavily involved in that business, and I could engage quite well with the business operations together with what I'm learning theoretically at uni. And I quite frankly enjoyed that process very much. Yeah, it's pretty much just putting together what you're learning and adapting it in your operational life. So yeah.
So you're working in a construction business at the time?
At the time I was, yeah. Whilst I was studying the Bachelor of Business and Commerce, I was studying, yeah. I was heavily involved in the construction company.
And what was you doing for that construction company?
I was the general manager of it.
Okay, cool. So you're a senior.
Yeah, I was a senior general manager, liaising with clients, putting out fires constantly, liaising with my employees, organizing specific projects, tendering, procurement. Yeah.
So what was your stepping stone? Because one minute you're looking at getting into policing and starting a career, but then obviously hand in hand, you're then senior management in a construction company. Did you not start a little bit lower down, work your way up?
In terms of the general manager position, it was a family-owned and operated business. So because it was a family-owned and operated business, I was studying in the background of things with flexibility, I guess, doing that part-time, and then working on the operations of it during the day full-time. And yeah, it was pretty much a stepping stone and a learning curve, I guess, for me, because learning one thing at uni and adapting it in your business are two separate things. They teach you the fundamentals, but they don't really teach you how to operate. Mm-hmm. So that I found that very challenging, considering it was a family business at the time. Yeah, it's probably one of my biggest challenges, I guess.
And then that is, we find that we work with a lot of interns and graduates that are trying to get into the world of work from taking their theory-based experience into the real world, and there is a bridging of that gap. Where so usually when I let them loose to go and do what they need to do, they come back with this dossier of research. And I'm like, that doesn't do anything for me. We're talking the currency of outcomes in business, okay? So if we say we need something done by Friday, what we're really saying is Thursday. That's and right. With bells and whistles on it, okay? I don't need to know how you've done it. I don't need to know what. I need some stuff if we just talk the outcome. And it's a bit of a steep learning curve for people to come away from doing this research, citing quotations, giving you all this dossier of information that is never going to be read.
That's right.
So,
Right.
So where did the pivot come for you to decide that ISO's the way to go for you?
Yeah, so part of the business, the family business that we had at the time, ISO was heavily involved within that business, and I had to engage within a consulting practice to get us all developed for an ISO and to get us down the avenue of getting audited by SAO Global. So we had to do that entire avenue. And once that was complete, I thought that whole process was so engaging and so strategically planned. I would love to potentially get into that industry one day, because you can't be general manager of a construction company forever. Surely that will eventually get boring, etc. So when I moved on, created my own path, I guess, I started working for different practices, so different certification practices where I was auditing multiple different industries. And then the gap for me in the market was, hang on a minute, it's great, I'm auditing, but what happens to all these businesses that don't have any development systems? And that was the bright light for me, because I thought, how could I give a customer a solution to their problem? And that's when Citywide Consultant was born.
Good. And so in the current state of play is, I assume there's plenty of construction businesses out there without their ISO accreditation.
Absolutely, there is. There's your tier one builders all the way to your small family owned and operated businesses that are in construction. So it's a diverse network. It's just about knowing, like meeting people that are in the right industry, and I guess finding solutions for their problems.
Mm. And what in your opinion, they obviously have to go through a lot of businesses in a molecular manner. What is it that most businesses are doing wrong? Where
A lot of businesses don't actually take on ISO accreditation as an implementation for the business in terms of growth. A lot of businesses do it as a tick and flick. So once they're provided with a certificate of compliance, they can start tendering for really big projects through the New South Wales government. Some businesses just take it on as, hey, we've got ISO. It's great. We could potentially tender for $5-10 million worth of work. But the real ISO and what's behind the standard effectively assists the business in so much more growth and stability and restructure. And they don't see that until later down the avenue when they've done a few audits, and the auditor's approach is, why are you doing your ISO? Like, what's the purpose of it? And if the client generally answers back saying, oh, we're just doing it for the sake of it, because it's mandatory, then that client isn't actually taking on ISO effectively.
Mm-hmm. And that makes perfect sense. For those people listening that don't know what ISO is and why it's important, can you explain that for them, please?
Absolutely, yeah. It's an international standard. So JAS-ANS is a certification body, or an international body. It's an international accreditation body, right? And they have written these incredible standards. And the three that I particularly look into is ISO 9001, which is quality management systems. It's all about customer focus. How do we deliver the best products? How do we make sure our service is always intact? I also look after the ISO 45001, which is the safety management system. How do we make sure when employees go out on site, they're coming home safely? And how do we effectively ensure that our documentation is safe and concise and clear and effective? And then you've got your ISO 14001, which is an environmental management system. And it's about, how do we ensure the environment's safe? If we are constructing, what do we do? Do we have sediment control? Do we make sure our climate change is regulated? What is it that we do? And pretty much once you do have these 3 standards across your business, it opens up a whole network of growth for you and your business. And it's basically just to say that, yes, I have been checked, I've been assessed, and yes, I comply. And you're complying to the international standard that's been written. So, but there's a whole heap of other standards. It's not just these 3 that auditors do. There's ample different standards that you can comply to.
And with it being international, where was the origin of the ISO? Is it US, UK? Where did it come from?
I believe it was the UK. You've got me there. It probably is the UK. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't dived that deep into where it was written. But yeah, there's always amendments to the standards. There's a community of networks that obviously sit down and work out if this standard is obviously applicable to different businesses and industries. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty good. I really enjoy it. And yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. And anybody listening to this, they would like to ask you some questions, engage with you in a professional sense, or just want to pick your brains on something generally, what would be the best method for them to contact you?
They can just contact us directly on our website. You can book in a consultation directly with me on our website. You can book a time that's suitable to you, and it's a free consultation that we discuss where your business is at, what we can do to provide solutions, and effectively close any gaps that your business does have. So yeah, you can just jump on our website. That's pretty much it.
Too easy. Well, when we publish this, please put that in the comments below, because people are engaging, and it's nice to see, and make it nice and easy for them.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Well, listen, Mina, thank you very much for your time. I enjoyed that.
Thank you, Tom.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you did enjoy it, had lots of takeaways from it. As before, please subscribe below so you can keep on top of any new releases we have. And also, if you would like to have your story told, just reach out with me and I'd love to give you that platform. My best email address is tom@purplepatchconsulting.com. Thank you.